Yo, guys, if you've been sharing these Letitia James videos, your homies have got to think you're psychic at this point, man, because everything we've been talking about for months is all over the circuit. I mean, this lady's practically mission accomplished at this point. And that's not even talking about the election interference charges once the appellate court reverses Trump's conviction and gives his team all they need to start hitting these prosecutors with big felonies. We've got a ton of updates, and if anyone's doubting you, send them this video and remind them that a couple of months ago, we were the only ones that saw this coming around the corner, and good things come to those who wait. So, you guys remember how that Virginia grand jury issued those subpoenas?
I did reach out yesterday to Letitia James's spokesperson, and when these allegations first came to light, they did provide a prompt response, alleging there was a weaponization of the justice system, some type of political payback. This time, though, her spokesperson has not responded to our requests for a comment.
Oh, crickets. Is someone nervous? I mean, it seems like it when the entire New York state apparatus tried to move behind her to create some sort of $10 million slush fund she could use for her legal bills. The $10 million criminal defense slush fund would seemingly cover any state employee, one, facing any federal legally compulsive process, as in subpoenas and so on, as of January 1st, 2025, or two, anyone who can claim the federal probe is a result of the employee's New York State employment or duties. Insiders are clear that it would cover Letitia James, even though nothing official links her day job work to the Federal Housing Finance Agency's criminal referral over her private real estate affairs. There's absolutely no reason for taxpayers to have to bail out James. If she didn't do anything wrong as she claims, then the case should easily be dismissed. And if there is a case, well, didn't she say that no one is above the law? And doesn't that mean no one is above their legal bills?
She's a horrible human being, and I think she's a total crook. There's no question about it, but that's just my opinion. Pam's going to have to do what she wants. She's a very bad person. She's a very bad person who campaigned solely on, I'm going to get Donald Trump over and over again. She's a sick person, but that's has nothing to do with what Pam does. Pam is going to do what's right.
Well, thankfully, the Senate GOP has something to say about it because, ironically, outside of the city, it's a pretty conservative state. Irate state Republicans want to bottle up a sneaky $10 million slush fund that could be used to pay Attorney General Letitia James legal bills as she faces a criminal probe. So hopefully we can get that in check because she's going to be a lot more cooperative if it's looking like she's going to have to offload a lot of her assets to start handling some of these legal expenses. And in my mind, I'm looking to twist the knife until we flip some people here, man. Oh, man, and then there's this Abby Lowell guy.
A lawyer for New York Attorney General Letitia James is pushing back against claims of mortgage fraud by the Trump administration. James's attorney is asking the Justice Department to refuse a request to prosecute her, calling the move improper political retribution. She's accused of mortgage fraud in connection with a home in Virginia and in Brooklyn. James's attorney wrote a letter to the U.S. Attorney General, which included real estate records he says disprove the allegations.
Yeah, no, it turns out her lawyer's a f***ing idiot.
Abby Lowell. I mean, I couldn't have dreamed of a more incompetent response that he made in reference to the referral to the DOJ.
Yeah.
Okay. He's saying, well, it was always 4 units on her Brooklyn property. I don't care if it was 2 units, okay? The fact is that the certificate of occupancy says it's 5 units. And then he points to a document that reflects the false information.
Bombshell. New York Attorney General Letitia James boxed in by her own attorney's letter to the DOJ amid federal investigation. Abby Lowell's letter to the DOJ creates documentary evidence that leaves Letitia James with no legally safe position. Here's the trap. August 17th, 2023, Letitia James swears under oath, I hereby declare I intend to occupy this property as my principal residence to secure a $780,000 mortgage in Virginia. On April 24th, 2025, her attorney Lowell writes to AG Pam Bondi explicitly stating that James was a non-occupying co-borrower with no intent to occupy the same property. On May 13th, 2025, despite being boxed in by her lawyer's own admission, James files financial disclosures completely omitting the property entirely. Lowell's letter to the DOJ creates an inescapable legal bind. If Lowell's letter is true, James committed mortgage fraud by falsely declaring intent to live there. If James's mortgage declaration was what's true, she's now violating disclosure laws by concealing a co-owned property. Her attorney's words to the DOJ have created documentary evidence that directly contradicts her mortgage application, leaving her with no legally safe position regarding the Sterling Street property. Filing these false disclosures via mail or electronic systems while under federal investigation could constitute mail or wire fraud, with penalties up to 20 years imprisonment. And now, because of all of this, under legal precedent already set in New York, Letitia James is facing disbarment. Literally. 3 weeks ago, America First Legal filed a formal bar complaint with the New York State Grievance Committee against Letitia James. In New York State, attorneys are held to stringent ethical standards. Violations, especially those involving dishonesty or fraud, can lead to severe disciplinary consequences, including disbarment and criminal prosecution. Historically, New York has disbarred attorneys who engage in mortgage fraud and related misconduct. This precedent does not bode well for Letitia James. They go through 3 examples here, and one of them is actually someone whose fraud was worth less than half of what Letitia James is currently at with everything she's defrauded New York's taxpayers on. And now, here's another thing. This other one, the 3rd example, Thomas Cusack III, he was disbarred simply for failing to prevent mortgage fraud. Yo, they said it was a nothing burger. Then they said there wouldn't be an investigation. Then before the grand jury convened, they were like, oh yeah, but there's not gonna be any subpoenas. Let them talk, keep making your voices heard, because we're doing this for real, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys rock, I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one.